time to get this party started. Wealth on Wednesday. We're launching again. We're here once again. Wealth on Wednesdays. I want to get into this real quick and just throw out to you, hey, here's how to get weekly income from Bitcoin with one ETF, just one. And I'm going to say this one's under review. I don't own it. Came across it a little while ago. This ETF has just been introduced last summer, and it was introduced by Global X ETFs. Global X ETFs, you might be familiar with them. QYLD, sound familiar? DIV, SDIV, any of those, you're going to be familiar with those. Then you're going to know that this company knows how to handle covered calls and options trading for its ETFs. And so let's get real. Let's get real. Let's get on it. Let's start out with this. This ETF offers weekly payouts. Weekly payouts, something that's been coming around since we talked about Roundhill, right? Roundhill's been around for a minute, and they've offered weekly ETFs. Also, YieldMax has started with the weekly ETFs. As I mentioned before, SoFi had weekly paying ETFs in the past. But now we have Bitcoin being offered through Global X's Bitcoin covered call ETF, which is ticker symbol BCCC. Get with it right here. Here it goes. Boom. That's what it is. Ticker symbol BCCC, Bitcoin covered call, right? And I want to say this about it. And I'll say this with all sincerity and being assured that I am saying it right. This bad boy is tough, right? This bad boy is tough, and it's tough because it offers some things that are unique. Here we go. Pay attention, because this is going to light it up. Its entry price is under $20 at $18.08. I just checked it a second ago. It's still $18.08. Entry price is low. I love that part. Dividend yield, 32%. That's based upon what it's been paying out so far, right? On a weekly basis, 32%. They do that by writing weekly covered call options on Bitcoin, which means its holdings are extremely low. Holdings are extremely low. At this point, their holdings are between 2 to 4 holdings. At another point, they have 5 to 7 holdings. Okay, that's going to fluctuate because they're going to do trading weekly in order to boost the yield. They're going to be trading weekly in order to boost the yield. So that's what they're doing. And they're boosting the yield in order to pay out the dividend weekly. And they do that weekly. And so just like I mentioned before, when we talk about dividend yield and dividends are yielded, the yield is compiled and calculated based upon how often they distribute versus the amount that they distribute and the stock price. Then when it's divided by 52 as opposed to 12, weekly versus monthly, you're going to have a different calculation, right? You're going to have a different calculation, and that's going to look a lot different in what your weekly distributions end up being versus what you're getting on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, right? If you get paid on a quarterly basis, let's say it like this. Someone is paying you for owning the stock as a shareholder, but they're not saying anything to you for about 2 months. And then that third month rolls around and like, hey, just a reminder, we're still here. But when someone's paying you weekly, that's a reminder, boom, boom, boom. That thing is calculating and compounding, and you want to get into that because that allows you to invest more, accumulate more. And when we're talking about doubling down on income, we want to accumulate more as frequently and rapidly as possible. I'm down with the weekly dividend yield. The expense ratio, here it goes. You would think something like this would be 2-3%. No, it's actually at 0.7%, which is still around a decent expense ratio, considering what you're paying for, and that's still under 1%, which is a standard for mutual funds. Now, for ETFs, it's a little high, but check it out. This is what you're getting. Hey, this thing is working with upside potential, right? They're doing covered calls, right, that capture the Bitcoin appreciation, while they also have a way to manage the inherent volatility that comes with these type of assets. Now, here comes the other part, the high income with the weekly distributions. Their strategy is to generate income. And when they maintain that, they're able to deliver a weekly distribution schedule. That's perfect. And here it is, the Bitcoin exposure. A lot of people are not going to jump into Bitcoin because they're unsure about it. And many people aren't going to trade options on Bitcoin because they don't have the assets to do it. Here it is, let the traders trade and benefit from the traders by being an investor in a Bitcoin covered ETF. That's simple. That makes sense. Pay attention. This is the key information about when this thing was released. Here we go. June of 2025. Hasn't even been a year yet. And at that point, they only have 4 holdings. Right now, they currently have 2 holdings. The idea is to distribute weekly. The expense ratio, as I said, is still under 1%. And they've already got just under 12 million under assets. Now, here it goes on the side. I got this from Stock Analysis. You can see in the past year, they've distributed $5.84 per share. Take that, do your calculation from the average price, the share price, that gives you what they're yielding, right? Or what they yielded for the past year. Now, if that changes and they distribute less this year, they're going to have a lower yield. But at 32%, how much lower is it going to go in the near future? How much lower can this thing go in the near future? This thing is just starting. It's a banger. I'm telling you, here's why I'm interested in it. My key points about it. Low entry level, under 20 bucks. High dividend yield, over 30%. Weekly payouts, right on time for me. And they're writing weekly call options on Bitcoin, which is an asset that increases and has great upside potential that I see. Also, the expense ratio is still under 1%. And if I'm getting 32, you can have 1% back. That's the way I see it. That's the way I feel. If you got any questions about it, be sure to check it out. I like this. I love it. Y'all stick with it. Thanks for stopping by. God be with you. God bless. And I hope this thing works out. And I think I might jump in this thing